Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon, Roger.
Thank you. Thanks, Alan. I appreciate that. All right. Hope everyone is doing well. This is the third of our meetings, and we are. Our main goal today is to get some recommendations for the school board and vote on those recommendations, walking out with something that the board can review. So here's the agenda tonight. You all know the purpose. I've grilled you all on that quite a bit to provide some recommendations to the board about our current budget, the short term, okay, resolution for the budget. Dr. Barbara's going to talk about the landscape without new revenue, what could happen, the implications for that. And then we're going to go into reviewing information so you all can make some informed decisions and come up with some informed recommendations, options. Each group's going to report out those recommendations. And then we're going to go through a process where we actually vote on those recommendations. Okay, that's how tonight's going to look. Any questions before we go any further? Okay. As I said, the objectives, we've been through that before. I'll just kind of skip that because we want to get to the work group purpose to comprehensively review relevant data, contextual information related to Fayette County Public Schools short-term budget plans. The operative phrase right there, short-term. Develop informed recommendations for the Board of Education to ensure fiscal responsibility and sustained support for all students. Tonight, short-term, okay? The other thing about the recommendations, we don't want to quell you all's creativity, you all's thoughts and things of that nature, so anything's on the table for the short-term recommendations. This is not in lieu of the occupational leisure licensure tax. It's not in lieu of that. That could be one of the options if you all choose to do so as a recommendation for one of the groups. So it's not in lieu of that, but anything else that you feel that will address the current budget shortfall for the short term, that's what we're looking at. So before we go any further, Dr. Liggins, some comments?
Yes, they didn't give me a...
You can use that mic, I think.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Can you guys hear me okay? I think for the recording they want me to... Can you hear me? All right. Good evening. First, I just want to say thank you all so much for being here. I know you guys have taken lots of time out of your schedules, and there's lots of places you could be other than here. So I just really wanted to take a moment to let you know how much I appreciate you for taking your time, your energy, your talent, and just really your care about our public schools to be here and to lend your voice and your expertise to this process. I was actually on a Zoom meeting with about 100 different superintendents across the nation, and we're all discussing, everyone in the group having budgetary issues due to the various reasons that we're here this evening, happening all over. And I talked about this group, and I talked about the convening and what we're doing, and it was really something that many superintendents looked at with their eyes open, just in their mouth agape, just not realizing that there's communities out there like Lexington who's willing to have people that are willing to spend their time and their energy to come for a purpose such as this. And so I've been bragging on you guys, and so really appreciate you for being here. Today it was reiterated, we're having our transition week this week, where we're having our kindergartners come in this week, we're having 6th graders, and we're having 9th graders, all that are transitioning to new campuses, so we're having them on campus. And so I was really able today, throughout the summer we do a lot of work, but it's usually all with adults, and so today I got a kid fix, and it just really reminded me of the importance of the work that's happening in this room. It reminded me that behind every single one of these numbers, every single discussion we have, that it's really about kids at the end of the day, and we want to make sure that we're providing a world-class education for them. And for you to be here and to give of your time and your talents, I just want you to, on behalf of our students as well, to say thank you, because they come to us, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, if you will, really excited And there's no time like the beginning of the school year when kids are still excited to come. They're not tired yet, they're eager. And so today it was really a reminder that this work and the work we do every single day is really about impacting them and to ensure that we're doing what's absolutely best for their futures and their trajectory. So I just wanted to take a moment to do that. Thank you. Today is going to be a lot of work getting down and dirty and getting some things done, but hopefully by the end of this evening we can have some recommendations that we'll ultimately take to the board to consider. But I did want to take some moments to just say thank you all.
All right. All right, next we'll have Dr. Barber.
Good afternoon. Oh, thank you. Appreciate the committee coming together and excited about the further recommendations and final recommendations that you're going to make for the board team. Just want to bring some clarification to you all, and it's really just about two different topics that keep coming up as far as questions from both the committee and questions from the community, because there have been some questions about what happens if we don't have additional revenues and our expenditures continue to rise. Here's what happens. Basically, we continue to have to evaluate our class size ratios, and it might lead to a larger class size and fewer support services. We do have to look at potential elimination of intervention programs and that includes whether it's struggling readers or ELL students and even students with disabilities. Some other challenges that could prevail and cause some challenge for our school district: cuts to CTE, arts and electives, pathways. Of course, we have Perkins funding, but it's not enough to do much at all. We also have other CTE funding that's come, LAVEC funding that's come to us that is now going to be, it's got a time limit to it. But the reality is layoffs would become a reality, and that would include administrators, teachers, counselors, social workers, and paraeducators. Additionally, mental health support declines, more long-term substitutes would probably become an issue, and we would have to cut transportation, deferred building maintenance, tech rollbacks, and there seems to be this knowledge and understanding about what happens, but what's not understood is that our schools, our high poverty schools, have worse outcomes as a result, and especially students with disabilities. Other thing that would happen is just long-term risks. We have such an incredible school system in Fayette County Public Schools. We have a premier world-class system we're developing and building where students come in and they learn and not only discover their passions, but build on them. And so this is put at risk. And so what would happen is the lower achievement, higher dropout rates, and we would start to contribute to a weaker workforce. So bottom line is we cannot sustain competitive salaries, absorb inflation, or deliver the education our students deserve without some type of new revenue and or major cuts. The other thing people have asked is about the OLT and what is it? Because this came up, and I don't know, it's not, there it is. So there was a lot of questions. What is the OLT? Let me explain it in simple terms. It is the occupational license tax. It is a local payroll and business tax. It is only paid by people who work and live in Fayette County. It is not paid by people who work in Fayette County but live in a different county. And it's not paid by people who just live in Fayette County and work somewhere else in another county. So it does apply to net profits of businesses operating in the county. Typically, it's withheld from paychecks or filed by self-employed individuals. And that 100% of revenue supports Fayette County Public Schools. We already have an occupational license tax. It already exists. It already exists, and our schools benefit as a result. What was on the table when it came to the table was that it was a proposal to go from 0.5% to 0.75%. On a $66,000 salary, that's about $6.35 more per paycheck every 2 weeks. Every 2 weeks. That would be a 2-week paycheck. people who are exempt from OLT, people who only live or only work in the county, and also banks, life insurers, nonprofits, election workers, and utilities. One other thing is just recently in the big, beautiful bill is there is a deduction that's actually has gone up, and you have up to $40,000 deductible dollars, which is updated from the Trump 2017 tax reform, that's deductible. And so that is actually could be utilized. And of course, that helps reduce federal tax burden for many, many middle income earners. So I just wanted to clear up the OLT just so you knew about it. And I also wanted to create an opportunity for you to see what happens if we don't have additional revenues or increased revenues who outpace our expenditures, or we may have to make cuts. So now I'm going to turn it back over to Dr. Cleveland.
Thank you, Dr. Barber. So now we're going to do some, we have a question? Yes.
Are there numbers associated with those cuts? Like how many teachers versus how many administrators, which programs, of how much for each program? I mean, there's just very little information about where the actual numerical cuts will go.
That would be. Can you hear me? Okay. That would be a decision made by the board in terms of prioritization, depending on the amount of the gap. So if we don't know the total gap, it's all based on prediction, but it depends on what revenues we have that we think are going to come in, along with what new revenues we may get. So there's a prioritization that has to take place. Yes. Potentially, it's up to the board. It's all board driven. So.
Okay, any other questions? Yes.
What were the total gross dollars projected in if they did the OLT increase as initially proposed? What was the total in?
It ranged. You mean additional to?
Sorry, yes.
It was like anywhere from 28 to 32 million per year for a full year. But it would just be for half a year, half of that. Yeah.
Dr. Barber,
Yes.
is there any impact on the budget we're talking about from the, no, thank you, impact on the budget that we're talking about that would be impacted from the return of the federal dollars that just came back?
Yes. So we went from 20 million gap to back to 16. So.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are we good? Thanks, Houston. So the next piece is for you all to continue to look at information. It's probably going to be more like 30 minutes versus 40. So we don't have time to pontificate. We got to get in it, okay? And look at information to help with recommendations. Get your mic real quick.
I just wanted to ask one question. I know you said there's no reciprocity. You're sure of that? It seems to me years ago that they had some kind of reciprocity with other counties for the OLT. Did that go away, or did it never
She was asking about
exist?
reciprocity for OLT. Anyone know that answer? From county to county.
City might be different functions than school. So I don't know how the city's OLT operates, just the schools. But what's your question? I'm not sure what your question
Well,
is.
okay,
Yeah.
I thought at one time there was some kind of reciprocity with other counties that they would collect the tax and send it back.
No, because with a school district, I mean, think about it. Frankfurt's a big example. You have a bunch of people that work in Frankfurt. Frankfurt Independent and Franklin County Schools get $0 from the OLT.
They don't collect one? Is that
No,
what you're saying?
they don't have the ability to collect off somebody working without that. You have to work and live. That's part of the school OLT.
Okay, anything else? Anyone else? So we're going to look at information before you and the information you had to the previous meetings. And we have district staff around. If you have any questions specifically for anyone in central office, they can answer your questions. Okay, we're going to spend about 30 minutes, 35 minutes. And we're not going to take a break. We're going to use the rules of 2 feet because we got to get this work done today. So if you need to take a break, restroom, slice of pizza, whatever, just go do your thing. We'll come back and continue to work, okay? So with no actual formal break. All right, thank you all. Let's get to work.
Microphone check. Microphone check. 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing 1, 2, 3. Testing.
Yeah, once I get past here, it's like who all's in
This one.
where.
Yes.
All of the stuff didn't really make sense because there wasn't any numbers with it, like what she said, and then like what's the priority over it? Like, are you gonna cut teachers first and keep 30 admin in one building, but cut like 12 teachers? I feel like a lot of it's for the board, and I understand like their decisions. I just feel like we can't get
I'm sorry?
Oh,
No. Boys, now come on. Play nice. Ooh. No? No. FCPS. Can we try one of the table mics? Okay. You went down one, so you went down again. Take that microphone. Oh, I'm so sorry. Thank you. Yeah. If nothing else, can't we just take this one and set it in? That's what I meant. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. You're right. You're right. You're right. I'm so sorry. But up here, they can't hear. It's really bad right here.
got it? Test that one again real quick.
All right, we're going to wrap our conversations up. And Tracy Bruno is going to take you all through the next steps around reporting out your recommendations. And then the next part is we're going to get that information, then we're going to vote on recommendations. So they're all yours, Tracy.
Yeah. All right. So we're going to go group 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and so we're going to ask a spokesperson from your group to give the recommendations that you have for us to take to the board. As we're doing this, as you're reporting out, Ms. Steffendahl here is going to be recording your recommendations. And obviously, if there's some repeats, she won't record the repeats. She'll get all those into what we call a Qualtrics survey. And once we have all of those recorded, I will hand out individual sheets of paper that have a QR code or a web address that you can use in order to rank the recommendations. Remember, Dr. Liggins said that we're going to take all of the recommendations to the board, regardless of how many votes that they get. And so we're going to be able to then log on to the survey, and you're going to rank them. If there's 10, you're going to rank your top choice, your second choice, your third, your fourth, your fifth. And after you do that, it will automatically update our survey, and our report will be able to, we'll be able to show you the report to show you the recommendation with the lowest average, which will be your top choice, your top recommendation to the board. The second lowest average is your second, third, and fourth, and so on. So right now, we're just going to go around and take the recommendations, record those, and then we're going to give you a few minutes with the pieces of paper to record your survey responses, and then we'll be able to, again, show you those responses and show you the fruits of your labor and show you how the recommendations are going to be taken to the board on August 18th. So, Dr. Cleveland? All right, let's start with Group 1.
Okay, so our group had a couple of recommendations, and we landed on a potential reduction, partial reduction of the contingency down to 4%.
Okay.
From the 6% that it's currently at, knowing that that can create some problems in the end, but something that can be looked at by the long-term group once they are rounded up. And then
just a second, just so I'm clear. So your first recommendation as a group is to reduce the contingency fund by 2% from 6% to 4%. That's your first recommendation?
Yes.
Got it? Okay, thank you.
And then the second recommendation is the increase of the occupational license tax.
Okay. Is it from 0.50 to 0.75?
That we didn't quite discuss.
I just want to make sure we're clear and we have all.
Yeah.
So we have another recommendation, and that is to take the $16 million deficit out of the contingency fund to solve the short-term problem immediately. I think we just started talking about the occupational tax, so didn't have enough time.
Is that so that's not an official recommendation for you all, it's just the contingency?
Yes.
Okay. Houston? Yes. Houston, are you clear on what they're asking? Will the 2% reduction give us 16 million? What's that? It won't? Will taking 2%, going from 6% contingency to 4%, will that give us the $16 million we need for next year to bridge the gap? That's 14 million. Okay, so that doesn't quite get us where we need to be, but that's a recommendation.
Yeah, so is this group only making one recommendation?
No.
Okay, yeah, because the idea there was to, there's multiple steps, that
and you compare things together, absolutely.
Right.
Okay. So what's the official, I just want to make sure we're on the same page.
Is it to take $16 million out of the contingency fund or to move?
One is to take $16 million out of the contingency fund to wipe out the deficit.
Okay.
The second is to not wipe out the deficit completely in this short-term solution, but to raise to, what was it? To do? To raise the OLT. It pained me to say that. To raise the OLT,
Okay.
and then let the long-term committee resolve the rest of it.
Okay. All right. You got it, Lisa? Okay.
You all good, group one? You good? Group two?
That pained me to say that, just so you know.
Our group did not have anything additional to add. We had been discussing the contingency as well.
Okay. Group three.
There we go. Oh, my. Beyond what has been mentioned, our group is also suggesting that the district initiate a sponsorship program for particular programs, pieces of buildings, the Hill, whatever, from the private sector, creating public-private partnerships. We've suggested consideration of consolidation of schools to match our populations in the district, consideration of liquidation of real estate and other assets that are not necessary, and to continue with a program of attrition in our administrative staffs.
Okay.
Not replacing folks.
Sure. So we're just thinking, a couple of those were more long-term, right?
Yeah.
We can't consolidate schools because
No.
we start in 2 weeks.
No,
So
we get it.
for this coming school year, is it the private-public partnerships? Is that your recommendation
Yes.
on top of what's already been said?
Yes.
Is that a separate recommendation?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Thank you. Group four? Oh.
You all finished?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, I think, given what has happened, we need some really good public relations explaining the need and what's going on, not so people don't think it was slipped under the door at the last
Sure.
minute or something.
Okay, thank you.
We have a clarifying question right here.
We, as a group, talked about the sponsorships because that had been mentioned at the last work group. And if sponsorships with schools were to be a thing, would it be that even though it's with a specific school, that would go to the Fayette County budget, or would this become a thing like we talked about at Cassidy Elementary? Their principal is renowned for the fundraising that they do there, but you consider the neighborhood it's in, right? So that doesn't really help the district as a whole. So
Sure.
would that be something where we could make that to where it does help the district overall? That's my clarifying question.
Well, I mean,
That's a question for the board.
yeah, it is.
And how they would do that, our recommendation would be that it would be pooled and shared for the deficit.
Mr. Stein said that their recommendation would be that the money would be pooled and put toward the deficit. Okay.
You all good? Group three? Group four?
Group four? Okay.
Two-thirds of our group agreed with the occupational tax and license fee being raised to the 0.75, but that the consolidation that we were talking about long-term had caveats. Only if they did not impact special needs students or the student-teacher ratios.
Okay, great. Thank you. And again, those are long-term. We can talk about those, that's a different discussion that we can have for the long-term outlook.
Okay, well, so our group is not supportive of increasing the occupational tax.
Okay.
We think that the board should balance the budget, and we think there's probably enough professionals that know the detail of this to do that. But we would also go back to some of the things that, at least at this table from the last meeting, we talked about, and that is addressing the contingency. So if you reduce that contingency by 2%, you generate $14 million. Then you have $2 million that you need to cut out of the recurring budget. That will have to either be positions, administrative, again, protecting the class, the students, the teachers, protecting that. So we're talking administration, recurring budgets that are not necessary, perhaps travel, perhaps professional development. You all will know those things better than us. We also do think that the board does continue to need to revisit the contingency policy. We know that 2% is required, but we also know that the board should continue to look at that.
Okay.
Or feel that the board should continue to look at that. Anything else?
All right, so Lisa, just to make sure I'm grasping this. So your official recommendation is lower the contingency by 2%, which will give us $14 million, and basically charging the district with finding the other $2 million to make up the $16 million.
Yes.
Got that?
Oh, and one last thing,
Okay.
it's in an effort to do that, then it is suggested that any spending for that first quarter that is not contractually obligated or necessary, and salaries would be necessary,
Sure.
Be temporarily frozen
Okay.
until we get a sense, or the financial department gets a sense of what those revenues are going to be.
Okay, great, thank you.
Anything else, Group 4? You all good? Okay, Group 5? Go.
I think we're largely in agreement with the last group. We would lower the contingency from 6 to 4. That gets you 14 of the 16. We can find, we believe, $2 million in savings to do it. And then the long-term group needs to look at long-term operational efficiency savings, recurring dollars,
Sure.
procurement, energy, all that we've talked about to find it on a long-term basis.
Great, thank you.
Is that it for you? You okay? And, hold on, we have one. All right, Group 6.
We'll get a little more specific on your other $2 million to give you another recommendation.
Okay.
So cut the contingency down, reduce it to from 6 to 4.
Okay.
Which is still 100% greater than statutory requirement at 2. Reduce your maintenance costs by $1.7 million to $2 million, so we'll give you that as a recommendation. That balances your 16.
Okay.
An alternative is you could reduce your maintenance costs and also increase your lunch pricing to make sure that that enterprise fund is self-sufficient, and therefore you're not using operating dollars to fund the enterprise. Make it a tub on its own bottom like it's set up to be. So we got 2 recommendations there. Both do not put a burden on the administrative staff to find the additional $2 million. They're distinctive within this.
Got it?
I'd like, before we do this ranking, I'd like to go over the list.
But for that group, do you feel like, okay, all right.
Is everyone?
And we also would like to recommend that a long-term committee
for sure
be established.
That's going to happen, yes.
May I ask a question about the school lunch pricing?
Mm-hmm.
Do we actually know the price sensitivity there? So in other words, if we raise the price of school lunch to fully burden the cost, do we have so many fewer people that will buy it that it actually doesn't cover the gap?
Anyone?
Price sensitivity. So if we have, oh, good Lord. I do not need a microphone. So price sensitivity with school lunches. So if we raise the price of lunch, they're obviously not going to be able to manage supply immediately. They're estimates of how much lunch is produced and sold. If price goes up, do we actually know if it will cover the cost, or if so many fewer people will therefore buy lunch that you actually lose money by raising the price? It's something to think about when we don't actually have the data on what the price sensitivity is for a 3-person family who doesn't quite qualify for free lunch but is real close. 50 cents more per lunch can put that family into, forget it, we're going to Kroger. So just, that doesn't necessarily solve the problem.
We don't have formal data on elasticity in terms of pricing, but we do know that it's probably the best value that a family's going to get in terms of price and cost. Even with the increase. And it's been benchmarked compared to other districts. So it's pretty comparable in that regard. But to your point, you will reach a point if it exceeds something that you will start having losses. So.
Or the family just doesn't send lunch and they can't afford it anymore. There's always that too.
Anyone else? Any other groups for next steps? Okay.
No, that only applies to those students who are not, who don't qualify for free and reduced lunch.
That only applies to the students who don't qualify for free and reduced lunch. That's exactly right. All right, so what we're going to do now is Ms. Defendahl is going to review the recommendations. So if we have any missteps in how we recorded your recommendations, please just let us know at this time.
Okay. I've collected them as 14 separate recommendations. Number 1, raise the occupational license tax and let the long-term committee continue to work. Number 2, take $16 million out of the contingency fund.
Everybody gets one.
Yes.
Number 3, initiate a sponsorship program for particular programs, pieces of buildings, public-private partnerships. Number 4, consolidation of schools to match population as long as it does not impact special needs students or the student-teacher ratio. Number 5, liquidation of real estate and other assets. Number 6, continue with the program of attrition for administration. Number 7, reduce contingency by 2% from 6 to 4. Number 8, charge the district with making up the rest of the cuts from administration, not impacting teachers. Number 9, revisit the contingency policy. Number 10, freeze any spending not contractually obligated. Number 11, long-term group continue to work on savings. And again, I don't know if all of these need to be on this list. Number 12, reduce maintenance costs by $1.7 to $2 million. Number 13, reduce maintenance costs and increase lunch pricing. Number 14, establish long-term committee. So I don't know if that's going to happen, then we'll just take that off, okay?
It will happen. That's not what's overall problem here.
Do we need both revisit the contingency policy and reduce the contingency?
What I heard was, several recommendations was reduce it by 2%, and then another one was take it down 16%.
16 million.
I mean, take down 16 million, sorry. Regardless of whatever percentage we're left with. What I heard was there were two options. One, just reduce the contingency by $16 million, period. And the other I heard was reduce it by 2%. Are there any other contingency? Okay.
And come off,
Okay.
yeah.
And should I also take off long-term group continue to work because we've already established that's happening? Okay. That gives us 11.
Okay. So Ms. Devendal is going to read the 11. So let's read those one more time, just to make sure everybody's agreeing.
Okay. Reduce maintenance costs and increase lunch pricing. Reduce maintenance costs by $1.7 million to $2 million. Freeze any spending not contractually obligated. Charge the district with making up the rest of the cuts from administration not impacting teachers. Reduce contingency by 2%. Continue with program of attrition for administration. Liquidation of real estate and other assets. Consolidation of schools to match population of the district as long as it does not impact students with special needs or the student-teacher ratio. Okay. Initiate a sponsorship program for particular programs, pieces of buildings, public-private partnerships. Take the full $16 million out of the contingency fund. Raise the occupational license tax and let the long-term committee continue to work. No. Yes. So we're down to 10. Did I misspeak or not capture you correctly?
I think
You're on.
when we mentioned reducing the contingency fund, that could probably be considered long-term, because we said 16 to get rid of the deficit and then consider reducing the contingency for $2 million to offset future years.
Yeah,
But somebody else said it, so I don't know if they meant it for the same reason we did.
Got them listed both to take the full 16 out or to reduce it from 6 to 4.
I just know our 2% was more of a long-term. But somebody else may have said it for short-term.
Yeah.
If I'm correct, there are two different items with regard to contingencies that we'll be voting on. Can the facilitators please clarify the differences between the two?
So one is we're going to look at our contingency fund and reduce it by $16 million to meet the gap. That's one. The other, yeah, whatever that percentage is, it will be below the 4%. The other is to reduce from 6% to 4%, which gives us $14 million, and then we would have to find the other $2 million somewhere else. Yeah. Any other questions? Yes, ma'am.
I'm a little curious about reduced maintenance. I'm not sure what they mean by reducing maintenance.
Your question was, you're not sure what the group meant by reducing maintenance.
Right.
Can you expound on that?
In the budget changes from last fiscal year to this fiscal year, there's an increase of approximately $8.7 million in additional maintenance costs. It's described as deferred maintenance and other things within that. It's a large increase in a budget item. Usually in a large increase, there's always some flexibility, just like your personal budget. So we're taking it out of that. There are some decisions that were likely made within that to solve some challenges that we may have to forego for a period of time as we get through this short-term problem.
So it's deferred maintenance, is what you're saying?
I don't know what is all in their budget. What I'm suggesting it is a large increase of $8.7 million, and there will be flexibility within that increase that the administrative staff could work to adjust.
So depending on where the revenue is coming from, I think they probably showed you that we have certain categories of what's called restricted funds that are limited to facility costs. So if it's out of that pot of money, you can't necessarily spend it on anything outside of facilities. So it couldn't go towards salaries or shoring up any other general fund expenditures. It would be restricted to that category. So I would need to have a little more detail to see, but the things that the board has done in the last few years, obsolete HVAC systems have been replaced. I'm assuming that's probably where that number came from. So we could save money within the restricted fund itself by foregoing those expenses from a year or two, but it's not necessarily going to go back to the general fund to shore up that $16 million deficit, if that's where your number's coming from.
Well, let's talk about that then. So in your budget fact sheet, $44.5 million of cost increase estimates. Maintenance costs, $8.7 million. Is that an operating cost you're showing us, or you're showing us restricted costs?
I'm assuming that's operating, but I need to see the sheet. Can you repeat that, Dr. Monday?
So I think it's in your operating budget. You've got a big increase in maintenance in your operating budget. I'm assuming that could be reduced and go to any other operating category, right?
Yeah, if it's in the general fund,
That's
correct.
what I think that's what we're saying, right?
It's this sheet. Y'all handed this out. It's document you provided to us. Is this the operating budget here?
It's operating. Correct.
So it stays. Any other questions? Any clarifications from anyone?
I'm going back to that too, because I agree with what you're saying. I'm still trying to get my arms around, if you have this, and I'm the one that asked that question about that, I forget what the question was, but about that fund that just goes to facilities. Alan, I heard you say that the first time I'd heard that. And so it seems like, and I don't mean this negatively at all, but we're sitting in a really expensive, nice building right now. And it seems like you would put all your facility costs into that, if that's the case, and not have operating budget dollars going that we need to pay teacher salaries to fix air conditioning units if we have a facilities budget that covers that, that's mandated by state law. I guess that's what I'm struggling to understand a little bit.
Hang on just a second, Ron.
I think the basic clarification is, we have general fund that can help to fund operating costs, but we also have restricted fund that can only fund the building itself that is developed and also restricted to that building. Now, once it comes up and alive, we have to fund it through general fund typically. Yeah.
Can you replace the children unit on a building through that fund?
It depends on if it's on the district facilities plan, and the answer is yes, but you would have to use most likely restricted funding. You don't always have to use restricted funding if you have the money to cover it in operational dollars out of general fund. It has to be on the DFP. So.
All right. What we're going to do now is hand out these quarter sheets of paper that you can either scan with your phone or type into your server, and it will bring up the survey. And Lisa, are we ready? Okay, so she's finishing that up. We'll let you know when we can start. And you'll see all of the recommendations. There's 10. So you'll rank them 1 through 10. The one that you're most in favor of, and the second, the third, and the fourth. And what it'll do, it'll compute it all together, and it'll give us our averages. And like we said earlier, the recommendation with the lowest average number will be the committee's top recommendation to the board. The number with the recommendation with the second lowest average will be the second recommendation to the board, second highest recommendation. And then they will take that information and they'll act on that. You do, yes. You have to, yes, you have to, right, Lisa, we have to rank all 10? Yep.
Thank you.
Are you done yet? Just give it a second. Yeah, that's why. We were testing it earlier, so just hang on.
All of a sudden, I keep on hearing you use a microphone. I'm like,
We'll let you know when we're ready.
oh, darn. They probably would have been like, you should have brought a laptop. She should have. I thought we had 11. Where did the one go that was gone?
So it's going to look a little funky on the first two because of how long those are, but there's a box right above them. So that you'll see a box and it says, charge the district with making up, I put them all alphabetical. Charge the district with making up the rest of the cuts from administration not impacting teachers. But the box right above that sentence is the box to put in your numbers. And then same with initiate the sponsorship program, and then everything else fit.
Does yours look like that?
The test was in there, so if you might want to close that and go back in and you'll see.
Well, we're going to try it again.
Is anyone having trouble finding it?
Okay.
Which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
If you don't see 10, just refresh your survey.
There it is.
All right, got it.
So if you click on a box, you can enter any number, or once you
You click on the box, you enter any number from 1 through 10. It won't let you repeat any numbers, and it won't let you close out until you've filled in a number in each box.
Do you have any left over?
one. Was it right here? No, we're just trying to make sure we have all the, before we publish it, before we factor it in.
Some of these don't make any sense. I'm like, they all go together.
Okay, that should be fixed.
This is not. 3, 4, 1. So now 7 and 9. Oh, it just erased everything. Great. I like the idea of like the sponsorship stuff, but then like you're gonna run into the problem of not wanting anyone to sponsor. So like, why? Mm-mm. Do what?
Did you try to submit this?
She said to refresh it if you weren't seeing like a certain option, because it didn't.
Did you try the arrow? No, it's telling her. It's. Yes.
Here's the issue I have. So, for example, continue with program attrition for administration.
What does that even mean?
They're going to go back and say, well, they just told us to continue with program attrition by administration, and it's not going to reduce the gap. So we've done that, but now we're still going to raise the tax. That's what they're going to do.
Mm-hmm.
I think honestly, I mean, everybody wants them to do that, like to continue with that. I mean, and that's fine.
Continue with what?
Everybody, lots of people want to reduce administration.
Thanks. All right, committee, let me have your attention for just a second. So when you try to do technology live, sometimes things go awry. I feel like we have a good grasp of it right now. So we're going to ask you, and don't throw anything at me, we're going to ask you to do this one more time because there were some partial answers and we want everybody's answers recorded. We want to make sure that your voice is heard in this process. So hang on just a second. Lisa, I need you to wipe out the results, and when I say go, do it for us one more time just to make sure we have everybody's. I just don't want to miss anybody. Yes, sorry, Alan. Don't do it till we tell you. Hang on just a second. This will be, you should probably have Bill's computer again. Sorry.
I can't. Oh my gosh.
Sorry about this. We just don't want to take a chance on missing someone.
I thought I hit the chair. My bad.
It's too important not to get everybody's voice.
See, y'all are lucky. Y'all's progress was saved. I got to start all over. I wish I brought my laptop in. It's sitting in the car in my backpack.
The other part of the conspiracy theory.
Yes, please.
You wrote your answers now.
Yep. She must be having a real hard time.
It'd be wild if it was that diabolical.
Erase the previous answers. Yeah.
And I've never done this version of like a survey or something. Like I've never.
Survey monkey like everybody else.
No, we're not going old-fashioned raise your hand. So what we're going to do is we are going to copy this survey and put a new QR code and address up on the screen for you all. So that's one you can use. So just hang tight. You don't need the piece of paper anymore.
Okay, that's comforting.
Okay. Now it's been wiped clean, so use the QR code that we gave you earlier. I know, I know. We're going to get through this together, guys, I promise.
Oops.
It's like it hurt us. They were doing a new QR code. It decided to wipe all the responses away from the old survey, so we're going to use that one.
Are they? Are you serious?
Oops.
No, it looks like it's in the right order to me.
Mine's not. Can I submit it now?
Would anyone appreciate a non-phone? Are you okay?
I'm good. Thank you.
18 responses so far. We're just waiting on a couple more folks.
Wait, you still have Miss Chan? I love her.
5 more folks, then we'll be able to show you guys the results.
Oh.
Thank you, Bill.
Mine was too. Hey, it's a good thing you wrote little. Yes.
You're welcome. Mine was insane.
I had 2 or 3 that were flip-flopped rather than all of it. Mm-hmm. And I got myself confused. I had to write down 1 through 10 and then cross out the numbers of what I already used. Because I think I had 7 on there like twice, and it was like you can't submit it with the same number. And I'm like, oh, okay, oops.
I know.
My bad. It'll be interesting to see what everyone said versus what they actually want. I'm waiting to see heads turn.
Oh, I didn't even see this page.
What's that one?
Recommendations, rezoning.
Oh.
What do they give, pros and cons or something?
Okay. What? All right, we are finished, so we'll take a minute and calculate the responses, and we'll let you see the results.
It said take Carter G out of Frederick Douglass. Remove 6 through 8 Carter G out of Frederick Douglass and leave the high school students for academic sharing. we get it?
Results from Chicago are in. So it's last precincts are always large.
It's those hanging chads. I'm showing my age now.
Oh, I thought you were. Yeah, most people are gonna be like, here we go.
Okay, so here are the, can you all hear me okay? The results. So the lowest number is the highest ranking. So it's obvious that reduced contingency by 2%. It's top one. Take the full $60 million out of the contingency fund is the second one. And then freeze spending on contractual obligated expenses. And then you see all the rest of them. So the lower it is that's the top three. The lowest one is raise the OLT and let the long-term committee continue to work. So as you look at that, any initial thoughts, comments? Contingency, reduce that by 2%, that's the number one. Take the full $16 million out of the contingency fund and freeze any spending not contractually obligated. Thoughts, comments? Mike? Is it on the?
Yeah, just kind of looking at that, I mean, really, if you take the the second one, really at 16 million, that's about 2.5% reduction, right? You can almost live with 3.5% across the board, and you're there at 16 million, and then you don't have to cut back on anything else, maintenance, school, et cetera, and then it really kind of lines you up with having the ability to take some time and look at ways to then increase additional funding, get some savings in some of these in the school district around things that we talked about, like procurement opportunities, things that you can do with savings and lights and so forth, et cetera. So, I mean, really the second one is probably the cleanest way to get there, even out, not just 1 year, but multiple years.
Okay. Any other thoughts?
I agree with that it's the easiest way. I don't know that the easiest is the best way all the time. I guess I like the two because it allows the flexibility. I believe freeze any spending. Be creative with that next 0.5. I think there needs to be some creativity. Take the next 3 months and figure out what the real number is. I think it just becomes a very easy solution just to say we're going to take 2.5% out. Take 2% and then force the creativity. You've bought yourself a lot of time with the 2%, and then be creative to figure out the rest.
Okay. Other thoughts, comments? Keep in mind that, go ahead.
I was going to make a comment that I completely agree. I think that, back to the math on the a little more than 2% coming out of contingency, that's fine. I think my comment's actually that I'd like to know what happens if the district doesn't raise the OL tax. None of these solutions are on that piece of paper there, or that screen. So I don't know why these solutions were suggested when these solutions were available. These solutions have been available the entire time we've been talking, but these solutions were presented tonight. So in my mind, I'm a little bit frustrated. This is what was presented when this is what was available, right? There were other solutions that we didn't think of that were in the budget this whole time. So that's disappointing.
Other thoughts, comments? All these recommendations will go to the board, okay? They'll just see the ranking of how they were from you all's work, but they will see every single one of them. And at that time, if I'm not mistaken, Tracy, Houston, it's the board's decision how they want to.
They'll receive the recommendations on August 18th. And that's what we'll present to them, is the work of this committee, and then they'll move forward from there.
And the other piece that some of these are long-term, maybe, and it's my understanding that we'll have a long-term solution committee, and they'll go through a process selecting people to be on that. But this will go to the board August 18th. Any other thoughts, questions?
Yeah, one really important question. If the board decides to vote to raise the OLT, will our paychecks be impacted by that, since we are working for a nonprofit here? I mean, the committee.
No. I don't know, maybe impact mine also, right?
When do we get our paycheck?
You know what, Alan? Yeah, we've been working on that for a while. And for some reason, we lost your name in the, in the finances. So everyone else gets paid except you. Yeah, we lost yours. But we do really appreciate you all's time, especially your patience tonight. We appreciate that. I saw a hand up in the back. Yes, Mike. Yeah. Yes, sir.
I just think I would be remiss to say, as representative from Fayette County Education Association, that being a part of this work group has made me realize how much the community does value Fayette County Public Schools. I say it as many times as I can to anyone that I can, that this is the best school district in the state of Kentucky. It's the best place to work. It's the best place to go to school. And I'm really glad to see that we're all willing to come together to do this. And lastly, I want to say something a little political, so bear with me here. But at the end of the day, we're all kind of scrapping together and arguing with each other to figure out how to continue to make Fayette County be the best place to go to school and to be a teacher. And that's because our federal and our state legislators don't fully support public schools, and we do. So the bottom line is we should all be talking to our legislators and think about who we're voting for.
All right. Thank you. All right. With that said, any closing comments, Houston?
No, you guys. All right. Just want to say. Now? Okay. Just want to say thank you very much. I know you've been an incredibly patient this evening. I also want to say the work is not finished, and what I mean by that is we want your input, your support, and next steps as we kind of work these long-term solutions along with the short-term recommendations. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy. And we'll be seeing you throughout this entire process. And as we move forward, please seek out other questions and provide any feedback as needed so that we can improve this process and other processes we do as a district. Thank you. Have a good evening.
All right, thank you.